So we will start in a minute. So participants kindly mute. So I welcome you all for this wonderful evening. So I am happy to welcome today's resource person, Mr. Jithu Joseph. And so I welcome you all for this wonderful session. So we have participants across the globe. So we have participants from Oman, Sri Lanka, and all parts of India. I once again welcome you all for this wonderful session. So today's chief guest, Mr. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So today's our resource person, Mr. Jithu Joseph, is a very known a senior security analyst. So currently he serves as a senior security analyst. So backed by industry leading certifications such as CHFI and CEH. So nearly having 3+ years of experience, he has cultivated expertise in security architecture, cloud platforms, compliances standards and automation. So all with an unwavering focus on excellence. So his hands-on work spans on a broad spectrum like CS benchmark scans and PCI network segmentation audits to firewall rule views in GSP and Azure. So he streamlined operations by building automated reporting tools and authored security hardening policies, including guidelines for Windows 11 and IAM, ensuring enterprise-grade resilience in today's volatile threat landscape. And another thing is his leadership in cloud security, posture management across AWS, Azure, and GCP reflects a forward-thinking approach, reinforcing critical infrastructure coupled with his drive to integrate Python-based automation and his collaborations across DevOps and SRE teams. He is shaping security workflows to be faster, smarter, and scalable. So beyond his technical mastery, I want to quote one thing. Mr. Jithu Joseph is a prolific contributor to the cybersecurity learning community. So having published 196 insightful learning notes, so each a nugget of wisdom for aspiring professionals. Uh, so up to today, he shared 196 insightful learning notes. So it's a exceptional contribution from Jithu Joseph. His mission to become one of the youngest CISO is not just a personal ambition. So it's an inspiration call to the next generation of digital defenders. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Jithu Joseph, our today's chief guest. His presence reminds us that the future of cybersecurity is not just secure, it's a visionary. So thank you for the opportunity. I hand over the session to Jithu Joseph.
Okay. Do you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Just give me 1 second. All right. Cool. So, Dr. Dhanraj, thank you so much for having me here. And I think after what I said, I don't think I have to spend some time introducing myself. But yeah, thanks once again. But a quick introduction again. So I'm Jithu Joseph. I currently work as a senior security analyst at 24/7 AI. That's from my professional perspective, right? But apart from that, what I am passionate about is mentoring a lot of students. I've mentored quite a few students when it comes to their career. I am a public speaker. I go to different places. I speak to different students, and that is one of the things that I do. Along with all that, I'm a technical writer. I've written quite a few articles. To name a few, one of them was published in one of the official CSA blogs as well. So these are something that few things that I do. And today, to be honest, I have to thank all of you for spending your evening. I think we're going to spend close to 1 hour here. We are going to discuss on the really important topic, that is breaking into cybersecurity, and not just breaking into cybersecurity, but how are we going to drive our future, drive our career in a future which is going to be completely controlled by AI, right? That is the core topic that we have for today. And before we start, just a few disclaimers. One, you might find my voice a bit choppy. I'm just recovering from a really bad fever, so I'm having a really bad throat. So apologies for that in advance. And second thing is that my slide is going to be a bit higher than my camera because my monitor is set up in that way. So you might see me going up and down. My eyes will be moving up and down. So people like me who have OCD, you might find it annoying. So that's why I'm just putting it out there as a disclaimer. So I think without any further ado, we can get started. I'm just opening up my slide. Just give me 1 second. Also, you might find me rushing through the slides. I think we have close to 36 slides. We won't be covering everything in detail because we do not have the time, right? With respect to the time, we just have 1 hour and there's no way we'll be able to finish everything in 1 hour. This PPT was specifically curated by keeping at least 2 hours in mind. So since we do not have the time, since the parity of time, we do not have some, you might feel that I would be rushing this. So apologies for that as well. So let me know if you're able to see my screen and we can get started. Are you able to see my screen? Okay. Cool. So today we are not just going to be understanding about cybersecurity, dear students and participants. What we're going to do is I'm going to help you paint a vision of your future, right? I would try to give you a map, a compass, and try to give you or help you build the courage to change your path and move towards this ever evolving landscape, right? So with this, what are we going to cover today? Before I get started, what are we going to cover, right? The agenda of today's session is going to be, obviously, the first thing is what is information security and what is cybersecurity? I know a really basic question, but to be honest, it is probably the most misunderstood question in the world of tech, right? So we're going to have a quick look at what that is, make sure that our understanding is perfect before we actually get into this domain, right? The next thing is we are going to understand what few concepts that are most important in cybersecurity are, like the CIA Triad and all that. So we are going to spend some time there. We're going to understand why cybersecurity matters, because we are going to be spending a lot of time learning, trying to get into this field. But the question is, does this even matter, right? So we're going to spend some time over there. Foundational skills. What are the foundational skills as a student that you should have to get into this field is something that we will definitely look into. And obviously, the star of the show is artificial intelligence. So we will look into AI-centric cybersecurity roles. How do we stand in the world of which is citizen by AI and all that, right? So we would look into all that and personal tips and tricks that help me break into this field. So we will be covering all that. So let's quickly move to the next slide. Okay, this is done. We don't have to spend time here. Okay, so what is cybersecurity, right? Now, the reason why we are starting with this is because this is probably the most misunderstood question or distinctions, if I might say, right? So what is cybersecurity and what is information security? Seems simple. It seems almost similar, but it is interchangeably used a lot, right? So the reason is because the devil is in the details, right? So what I mean is we all think when we say cybersecurity, everything is covered, but actually it is the opposite. Cybersecurity is a subset within information security, right? Cybersecurity is like when you build a defense mechanism where you use tools and technologies to protect your systems, networks, and all that from cyber attacks. That is cybersecurity. Information security, on the other hand, purely talks about protecting the confidentiality, integrity, availability of data. And that data could be physical, that data could be digital, and that data could be something that's even in your mind, right? You have to make sure that secrets do not go out. Verbal information is also part of information security. So that there's a distinct difference over here, right? So it's almost like when you go out in the crowd, if you have a bodyguard, your bodyguard protects you. That's cybersecurity because you have a tool. The bodyguard can be you can use an analogy saying the bodyguard is your tool. That is cybersecurity. But information security is, let's say, if you're a well-known, prominent person in the industry or in the world, you might have something sensitive. You might have some important data. So you try to protect that. If you have some, let's say, if you're carrying a bag and you have some personal diary, protecting that personal diary is information security, right? So there's this distinct difference, and it is really important to understand this before we get into this domain, because each and every role in cybersecurity or information security comes under these two, right? So if you do not understand this, it's really hard to go into what's next, right? Now, oh yeah, so this is the key differences that we were talking about. protecting the digital systems and assets come under cybersecurity. Information security encompasses both physical and digital data. That's what information security talks about. Now, the real world examples that I could quickly give you all is that cybersecurity, the best thing is definitely protecting the network, right? The moment we think about cybersecurity is we see some networking stuff and all that stuff going through our minds, correct? So protecting a network from any intrusion, that comes under cybersecurity. Information security is, let's say you write some really confidential information and you leave it on your office desk. Protecting that document is also information security. Let's say that document is not needed anymore. You just don't throw it in the dustbin. No. The best secure possible way to do that is shredding that document. That is information security, right? So these are a few real world examples that I could quickly give you so you can have a really good distinction of what these both are, right? Now, when you get into cybersecurity, you will come across a lot of terms. And one particular concept that you will always hear is the CII triad. So C stands for confidentiality, I stands for integrity, then you have availability. Non-repudiation, we'll get to it, but CII triad basically stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So what confidentiality stands for is that, let's say Dr. Dhanraj sends me a document. Only I should be able to see it. Only I should have access to that information, right? Only the right people should have access to that information. That's confidentiality. Now, integrity is now that document which Dr. Dhanraj shared to me. I have to make sure that now I see there's a participant called Srishant in the meeting, right? I have to make sure Srishant doesn't tamper that information that Dr. Dhanraj sends me. That's integrity. Making sure whatever document or information that you have is unaltered and it is actually it is actually right. That is integrity. Availability is obviously the most common thing, like making sure that whatever document that Dr. Dhanraj has sent me, I have to make sure that it is available to me at all times, right? It's not that when he sends me, I have it, but later tomorrow when I need it, it is not there. So that is availability. And non-repudiation basically means that, what non-repudiation means is that, let's say you did something, let's say you deleted that file. Let's say Srishant, again, let's pick up that participant. Let's say Srishant deletes that file. Tomorrow, when we question him, Srishant shouldn't say that, no, I didn't delete that file. That is non-repudiation, right? Ensuring that whatever actions that you do are undeniable. That is non-repudiation. So why is it important? Because the entire field is based on this, right? Protecting the information based on all these is what cybersecurity is all about. Now, there's no point, why I'm stressing this concept in particular is because there's no point in spending time just learning this theoretically. This is not going to help you in interviews, trust me. Because I've had a few interviews where people know what CII triad is. When I ask what CII triad is, they know it stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But the real expertise, the real experience which you can show is how can you apply these three concepts within the company, right? Let's say, how do you ensure that the file or information is confidential? How do you make sure that it's not tampered with? What all controls, what all tools, what all techniques that you could do to implement these principles in your organization? That is what's important. So no matter what you learn, take this to your heart. No matter what you learn, you have to make sure that you know how to implement that practically. That is the most important thing. And that is why I brought this particular topic and we are discussing it a bit more, right? Now, everything, right? Now, why? If you remember when we were starting the session, I was telling, why does it even matter? Does cybersecurity even matter, right? What is the real world impact that we have today? Does cybersecurity even matter? Now, imagine this. Let's say you have a hospital. Obviously, there are a lot of patients. There are a lot of critical patients in our hospital, right? A hospital's IT system is logged by ransomware, right? Ransomware is something that's non-living. Something that's non-living is a threat to all the living people out there. The lives are at stake just because of a non-living thing, right? So is it actually something that we can negotiate, right? Is it something that we can take as a optional thing? No, right? So the impact of cybersecurity, like let's say a company goes through a data breach or a company gets hacked, the impact is multidimensional, I could say, because first thing is obviously the financial aspect of it, right? You would lose billions in damages based on the company's size. Then I think even if I say, now you would see here in the slide is written financial, operational, legal, reputational. But for me personally, I think it's a reputation. You could grow, let's say, even if you lose your finances, you could still beat that up and grow. You could come back up, right? But reputation, because trust takes years to build, right? It takes years to build trust. The customer's trust, it takes years to build, but just seconds to destroy. Um, so when your company gets hacked, now the question is, why would I trust that company again? If it is a bank which is holding all my money and it gets hacked, why would I trust that bank once again? Right? The reputation is the major part why most companies fail after a data breach. So this is the major impact of having a data breach, right? So that is why cybersecurity is really impactful. That is why cybersecurity is needed, and that is why we have to spend time looking at it, because we are not just protecting data. Dear participants, we are not just protecting data, we are protecting people, reputations, and futures, right? So that is why cybersecurity is important, and this is a really good career for everyone to have it. Now you all would have a question. Like I think there are close to 100 people in the participant list, and all would have questions. Jithu, you said that it is a really important thing, really important domain. Without that, it is not possible. It's really hard, right? But why? Why is there so many openings still in the company? Why is there a skill gap, right? Why is there an empty desk? If it is such an important domain, why are companies still lacking really good skilled people in the company, right? Why is that? The reason of that, ladies and gentlemen, or students, it is because the skill gap in the industry is very bad. So you remember when I was talking about CIA Triad, I was saying people just know the theoretical part when they come to a company. How is it going to help you? The technical skill is really bad. There is a really shortage of technical skills that we face, right? People do lack. Now, when someone is trying to apply into network security, what would I expect from that candidate who I'm interviewing? Is that if I ask him a question on OSI model, I'm pretty sure he or she would be knowing the answer to OSI model. That is a concept that you should know, but that's not what you're going to apply practically, right? So technical skills is one thing that is, so there's a huge shortage of technical skills. That's one major reason why there's an empty desk in a company. The second reason is soft skills. Critical, it's a really critical skill that we have to have. It's in every domain. I can't say just in cybersecurity, but in every domain, communication is something that's really important, because let's say your company, you are a SOC analyst, you are the first line of defense. You see, a suspicious traffic. You have to communicate it to your leaders, right? The next action that your leaders or your team takes depends on how you communicate it. If it is a serious intrusion and you don't communicate it as it is a serious intrusion, then that's bad, right? So soft skills is another problem. I've seen many students finding it hard to communicate, and that is a really bad thing when it comes to interviews, and it is a really important thing as well when they're filtering students, right? That is one reason. Now, the other reason is this. This is probably the most biggest problem that every student, every person who's a fresher tries to get into cybersecurity faces. When you go through a LinkedIn job opening or job posting, you would see it says fresher. But as a fresher, they would expect you to have 3 years of experience. Doesn't make sense at all, right? Why would a fresher have 3 years of experience? I faced it personally. When 3 years back, when I was applying a lot of, trust me, that I can't even count the number of applications I've applied for different jobs, man. And the biggest problem I faced is this one. It's called the purple squirrel, right? So what is the purple squirrel phenomenon? So the analogy is simple. It's just basically talking about a scientist who's trying to find a purple squirrel. Now, will that scientist find the purple squirrel? The answer is no, because a purple squirrel doesn't exist, right? So that's what HRs and all these hiring managers are doing. They are trying to find this mythical purple squirrel or the perfect candidate who has 3 years of experience, but they're looking for a fresher, have multiple certifications, even as a fresher. When I applied, when I was looking for a job application, I still remember, I think the website was called InfoSec Jobs or something. I don't remember it exactly. There were 2 filters. One was years of experience. So I gave it as 0 to 1. And there was one more saying fresher, experienced, student, or whatever. So I gave it as student and fresher. There was just one opening or one job application out of hundreds. It was a fresher. I clicked on 2 different filters, remember that. But when I clicked on the job application, that so-called fresher job required me to have 5 years of experience and a CISSP certification. So people who do not know, CISSP certification is like the gold standard in this industry. That's one certification that's like the gold standard. And to have that certification, you need to have at least 3 to 5 years of experience. But they're asking that certification as the pressure. That is one major problem, right? So because of this, even though you are qualified, even though you are skillful and knowledgeable, and you probably could be the best in this domain, but because of all these, you are not getting selected. That's the another major problem. The next major problem is this. I know it sounds funny, but this is true, right? Even if you're 20 years old, they're looking for someone with 30 years of experience. Trust me, we would have all joked about this. Everyone who's getting into placements, everyone who's trying to get a job, I'm pretty sure you would have at least posted this in your status or your Instagram stories at least once, right? As a joke. But that's the problem. This is another problem. It's all the legacy hiring mindset people have. People are adamant. They are not ready to move on. So that is one problem that we are facing, and that is one reason why we still face this problem called the empty desk in the industry, right? Now, another problem, now we have been talking about problems from an hiring manager perspective. Let's not keep blaming other people, right? Let's take the blame for ourselves. This is the another problem that we can blame ourselves for. You are, me as a student, let's say I'm trying to apply for a job, which says SOC analyst. I would prepare everything that's theoretical in the internet. I would by heart everything. I would learn what vulnerability is, what threat is. I would by heart with description and come to the interview. But the problem is people don't understand that there is a clear difference between vulnerability, threat actor, risk. Right? We are not spending time, doing things practically. Right? We are just learning stuff just because we want to clear the interview. What's the point in that? That's another problem. So these are the problems that we need to tackle if we are going to have a really good, successful career in the industry, right? Now, is cybersecurity still going to be there, or why should I even choose cybersecurity, right? The obvious answer is yes. That shouldn't even be a question, right? So with all these hardships that I was talking about for the past 5 minutes, should we still continue pursuing cybersecurity? Simple answer is yes, because the threat landscape doesn't change at all. It's only increasing. Uh, if you take data say from 2010 to 2025, you wouldn't find a single year where the number of cyber attacks has reduced but just increased, right? The global cyber attacks are increasing, and the number of unfilled positions are increasing, and the estimated damages because of a cyber crime is crossing trillions. This 6 trillion that I've put in the slide is old. I just went through an article yesterday. I think it's from Gartner. It says 10.3 trillion is the global cyber estimated damages of cybercrime. 10.3 trillion. I don't even think India has the GDP of so close to that. So yes, simple answer to why to choose cybersecurity, because um, cybersecurity isn't just a career, dear students. Cybersecurity isn't just a career. It is, let's call it a mission, right? Because we cybersecurity professionals are going to be the difference between chaos and control. So yes, you could choose cybersecurity, and it is worth pursuing, right? Now, we discussed on okay we discussed on what the gaps are, what the problems are. Now let's do this. Let's spend some time filling those gaps. Otherwise, what's the point of me sitting here, and what's the point of you guys sitting at your home spending 45 minutes listening to a random person, right? Let's fill those gaps. What do we do? My suggestion always, doesn't matter if you're a professional, if you're a beginner or a student, always start with your fundamentals. Fundamentals don't hurt, right? Even if you're in, let's say you're a football player who has 20 years of experience, you still make sure all your fundamentals are strong, right? As a sportsman, because that's your base to everything. Now, as a cybersecurity professional, you cannot secure something you don't know about. I always say, I have this really good line that I always keep telling, and my friends are probably tired of listening to is, you cannot secure your home unless you know how many doors and how many windows you have, correct? So it's the same thing. Unless you don't know how systems work, how will you secure it? So start with networking, right? Networking is the core of everything. That's how everything talks to each other. So understand what networking is. Not when I say understand what networking is, not theoretically, not understanding what OSI model is theoretically, not understanding what TCP/IP model is theoretically. Understand how it works, what happens in the different layers of OSI model. That is what's worth it, right? Understand within each layer what is the security threats that are there and how do we prevent it. That's what's worth it. Understand different operating systems. As a security professional, you should have really good experience in Linux. Linux will help you a lot. You will be playing around with Linux a lot, right? So especially if you're into red teaming and pen testing, Linux is your go-to tool. It's your Bible, right? So you have to learn Linux at least have the basic commands and you know how to navigate through it. Then scripting and coding. This is one question that I always get. Jithu, should I be really good at coding? Yes and no, because see, coding will always help you no matter which domain you're in. It's always a booster, it's always a plus point. But is it absolutely necessary? Probably not. But does it hurt learning? It definitely doesn't hurt, right? So because I could give you my personal experience, trust me, guys, I'm really bad at coding. Um, I'm probably the worst person when it comes to coding, but I learned Python and I'm not really good at it, but I learned Python, learn scripting or Python in a way that you're able to automate a lot of your tasks, right? I do a lot of manual tasks, my work, and I was able to in many of it, and trust me, it saved me a lot of time, right? So this would help you in your career, right? One or the other day, this is going to help you. Tomorrow, let's say you are trying to be an entrepreneur, you want to build a tool, coding is definitely going to help you in one way or the other, right? So you try to have a really good skill set, really good, toolkit. Build your fundamentals strong, and this would definitely help you because remember, you wouldn't become a chef unless you know how to hold a knife, correct? I think I'm becoming the king of analogies because I love writing analogies. So it's simple, right? Unless you know how to hold a knife, you're not going to become a chef. So it's simple as that. Make sure your fundamentals and your base is strong, then move one step ahead, right? Now, since we know what cybersecurity is, since we know what information security is, we know the distinction, we know what it is, we know what the problems are. Since we learned what is the basics, since we have our fundamentals covered, what's the next step? Choose one domain within cybersecurity. The problem today's generation is that I don't think it's just today's generation. Even when I was a student, this is the first thing that happens when you hear the word cybersecurity. The moment you hear cybersecurity, the first image that's going to come to your mind is a person wearing a hoodie and a glasses and probably with acne in his face, hacking something. That's not what cybersecurity is. Cybersecurity is not all about hacking and penetration testing. Every single student that I talk to, first thing they say is, I want to become a penetration tester. And I don't immediately go and say, okay, this is your roadmap. The first question I ask for any domain, if they say I want to become a SOC analyst, I ask, why? Ask these questions to yourself. If you say I want to become a pen tester, ask yourself why. Is it because others are saying pen testing is cool? Is it because cybersecurity sounds cool, or does it pay well? Don't do that. Since you already have your fundamentals strong up to now, understand the different domains in cybersecurity, right? There is red teaming, blue teaming, purple teaming. Trust me, I'm not making up colors. You wouldn't believe me if I say there is white team, yellow team, and green team as well. There actually is. I'm not making up these colors. There is something like that. So understand what these different domains are. Understand what GRC is, right? Why did you even choose penetration testing if you don't know what GRC is? GRC could have been a much better career for you, right? So learn. When I say you don't have to spend hours together sitting and understanding what different domains are. Just know what those are. Tomorrow, if I come and ask you, do you know what risk and what a risk analyst does in a company? You should know that. So the benefit of that is once you know that, you would know if you actually want to choose that, or are you just choosing one role because it sounds cool, right? So understand that. That's your next thing. Choose a pathway. Now, I know we are almost halfway into the session, but let's spend some time understanding what these different um, different domains are, right? Now, red teaming is obviously, I'm not going to spend time here. Every single person knows what red teaming is. Ethical hacking, penetration testing, right? This is what red teaming is. What about blue team? Blue team is where your SOC analysts come into the picture, right? They are the soldiers. They are the ones, in the front lines. They're the ones defending us all, sorry, right? They focus on threat detection, incident response, and all that. Defensive security is what blue team basically means. And purple teaming is basically the collaboration of the red team and the blue team. Now, the reason why I'm not spending time over there and directly jumping into, and I will spend time talking about GRC is because GRC is, trust me, a really underrated career choice. People think GRC is boring. It's because you might think there's not much technical stuff. It's all paperwork, right? Now, even if you see in the image, you would see the person holding a paper. And for some reason, the guy has three hands. And it is not a mistake. As a GR specialist, you should actually have multiple hands. You should be really good at multitasking because you would be working with multiple compliance standards. It's not one rule, it's not one standard, it's not one policy. The amount of policies and standards that a GRC analyst or a person working in GRC has to go through is crazy. It's a really good career choice, right? Because listen to this. One of my mentor I was speaking through, this is what he said. A company can survive without SOC, right? Your company does not have to have security operations center. Your company can survive through it. All you need to do is just pray to all your gods. And if your gods listen, your company is not getting hacked or breached. Your company is fine. but your company cannot run without GRC for a year. 1 year you can do it, but next year you can't. Because let's say you have a company which is storing payment information, correct? If you are storing payment information or credit card information, you have to be PCI compliant. There's no way you are not PCI compliant. You have to be PCI compliant. It's not a choice, because if you don't, you are going to be filed with, lawsuits are coming on your way, right? You'll be running, you're spending your life going through courts and cases and all that. So you should be PCI compliant. But to be PCI compliant, you need someone who knows or has knowledge in GRC, right? So GRC professionals are also it's like they are the translators between business risk and technical actions. They might not do anything technically. They might not say this is the firewall rule, block it, or they're not the ones who are blocking all that. But they are the ones who translate that risk to all your business teams and your leaders and all your CEOs and all of them, right? So what would a GRC analyst or a person working in GRC do, right? So, or you're responsible for multiple things. It depends from org to org. There is no standard definition for any of these rules. But let's say from a compliance perspective, you are required to comply, right? You're required to comply with a lot of standards. One of them could be well-known one is obviously ISO, right? ISO 27000 or whatever it is. If you have to be PCI certified, PCI has a lot of requirements that you have to follow, right? Your firewall rules should be this way. Your load balancer should be that way. From a from a network security components, that is something I also do with my work, right? I review all this stuff because PCI says to do that. So this is something you would do, right? Doing risk assessments, having knowledge of compliance frameworks and all that stuff. This is what GRC is all about. The reason why I actually spend time again here is I don't find a lot of people spending or focusing on GRC. But trust me, guys, it's a really good domain to look into. And I've heard people say that if you have really good knowledge and experience in GRC is the next step to become a CISO. The transition is much easier than any other domain. So maybe if people who are aspiring to become CISOs, this is the domain you have to spend time looking into, right? Now, are these four domains the only domains in cybersecurity? Is that all, right? The answer is no. Here it is. You see this spider web. Trust me, this is a really old one. I think it's 2021, as per what the slide says. 2021, and this is not even an exhaustive list. I mean, each different domain has multiple subdomain, and each different subdomain has multiple technical skills required. And today in 2025, I could quickly think about few more domains that we can add in this list, that is AI security. In AI security, there are going to be multiple other things where AI risk analyst comes into play, say prompt engineers come into picture, right? There are a lot of domains. There are 40, 50 plus domains that are there in cybersecurity. It is not ethical hacking. That is not the only domain that is in cybersecurity. It's just one part of it, right? And trust me, guys, if I take time explaining each of these domains, we would probably need to spend 40 to 50 hours because each of these domains require at least 1 hour minimum, right? That's how vast cybersecurity is. So that is why I'm emphasizing, or I'm trying to stress and tell you that do not choose a domain unless you know what different domains are there, because the opportunities are endless. So make sure you know all these and then spend time. Then you choose one that you like and then go through it. That is my humble request and a suggestion, right? The elephant in the room, ladies and gentlemen. The title of the talk was also talking about what are the career strategies in an AI driven future? Because the moment you open your eyes in the morning until the time you close your eyes while you sleep, you would at least hear the word AI once. Because I do, that's why I'm telling it out. And to be honest, that's not even an exaggeration, right? We are in a world where everything is driven by AI. You need to have AI. And one thing everyone worries about, all the working professionals who worry about is, will AI take my job? So let's talk about AI, right? Especially, let's focus on cybersecurity and AI. So is AI your friend or your enemy? Obviously, it's both. It's a threat and a tool. It's like a coin has both sides. You wouldn't have a coin without head and a tail, right? So same thing about AI. It's obviously a threat and a tool. It's all about your perspective. Now, Dr. Dhanraj could be someone who views AI as a tool and is using it for a good things, and I could be a person who is viewing AI as a threat and use it for malicious stuff, right? It's all about perspective. It's all about how you look into stuff, right? Anything could be good, anything could be bad. It's all about how you use it, right? So AI as a threat, the most or famous or the biggest issue that we are facing today is deepfakes. Right? Deepfakes are one issue that we are facing today. Automated phishing is another one. And AI-powered malware is my favorite because it's such an interesting topic to research on, right? I'm actually spending time doing that as well. We are past the time where we were talking about malwares, about Trojans and all that stuff. That is the story of 1995 or 2010s, right? Today, we are in the era of AI-powered malware, polymorphic malware. People would have heard about polymorphic malware, but have you heard about oligomorphic malwares? Right. So there are multiple type of malware now. Polymorphic malware, what it does is, let's say, it has the ability to write its own code. It keeps changing its code every time it moves through your system. Let's say I got affected by polymorphic malware. My laptop has it. The next thing it does is laterally move to find another system. It's going to change its code so it is not detectable. Right. That's how bad the situation has become. And it's such a really good topic to research on. People who are into research, students who are trying to do a project, spend some time on oligomorphic malwares and polymorphic malwares. You would really, you would have really good topics to work on. Now, AI as a tool, how it is helping us, right? Threat detection is the most obvious one that I could think of. For SOC analysts, what is the first thing that you see? Your SIM or your SOAR would tell you, hey, this looks suspicious. This particular packet or this particular traffic looks suspicious, right? You have to sit there and analyze if it is suspicious or not. What is AI doing is it is detecting that, analyzing it, confirming that it is a threat, and making sure that it's not a false positive. So your life is easier now. All you need to do is work internally and fix that issue, right? But now we have reached a point where AI is able to respond to that threat. You don't have to do anything. Now, this is where we are coming to a really interesting topic where the level ones or the tier one SOC analysts are getting replaced by AI. And it's kind of true. I mean, it's actually true because what does a level one SOC analyst do? You are the first person looking into logs, right? You are the first person looking into threats. You are the first one who is going to respond or take it over to your next tier, right? The SOC level two. We don't need that tier one anymore. AI can do it, right? So AI is really good, really helpful at predictive analysis today. So this is how it is helping us, right? And let me put it out there for all the students or all the professionals who's worried. I personally say this, people do argue, but AI won't replace anyone. There's not any domain. AI would only replace those people who are not willing to adapt AI in their career, right? And even in security, AI is not going to replace any security professionals. But those who embrace AI, they will replace people, those who don't embrace AI. They are replacing people, not AI is not replacing anyone. People who are learning AI are the ones who are replacing the ones who don't. So if you spend time actually learning all these, it's not just AI, I mean, it's whatever technology that's come now. Quantum technology is the other one, right? If you spend time learning that, why would someone replace you? Because you're the best, right? You're learning as, you're progressively learning as new technologies come into, right? So that's something I actually wanted to put it out there. Now, we spent some time looking through different domains in cybersecurity, but it does not make any sense, or it's not fair if I don't talk about if there is any opportunities within AI domain, right? So these are the new roles that are out there. One is obviously the AI security specialist, the ones who would be and please do note that these titles are subjective to market risks. What I mean is that it changes from company to company. There's no predefined one. AI security specialist in company XYZ could be a person who is securing their AI models, but in company ABC, it could be someone who is doing prompt engineering, correct? So do not take this to heart. I mean, this is not a predefined title, or it does not have. It's not like if you're an AI security specialist, this is what you have to do. Nothing like that, right? So these are the, I do spend some time going through all this. I would hold on before I move to the next slide. So we all have threat researchers. Threat researchers spend um, a really good time. Just 1 second. Okay, really sorry, I told you I have a really bad cough. And we do have some artists in our participants. Really like it, but please do not do that because we cannot waste time. All right, so these are the different domains. You do have compliance, again, GRC. You do when you are someone into AI, there is a career path for you as well, because there is a risk management framework called NIST AI risk management framework. These are some things that you'll be using in your organizations if you are actually having AI tools or technologies being used, right? So yes, to keep it short, the students or participants, there are AI-centric cybersecurity roles as well. Because I found a lot of students who are keen when it comes to AI. They want to spend time breaking stuff in AI and working in it. So these are the different domains that you could actually spend time. Now, how do we stand out? Now we finished all the technological part, we finished all the technical part, we finished what to learn, how to learn. Remember this. Let's say you are the most knowledgeable person in the industry today. It wouldn't make any sense, or it is not worth it at all if you don't spend time bragging it out. I'm just saying, it's just basically showing your skills off, right? Now, if I am really good at, let's say, LLM red teaming, or let's say general bug bounty hunting, right? Let's say I'm really good at it, and only I know that, what's the point? Right? What's the point unless somebody else doesn't know it? If me and my parents know it, there's no use with it, right? Obviously, my parents are going to be proud about it, but how is it going to help with my career, right? So whatever you do, whatever you will learn, try creating articles, blogs, and share it with others. There are two major things that this could do, right? What this will help you out is, obviously, whatever, let's say you build a tool or you do a project and you share it out with the public. Someone who is also keen on learning stuff would also be benefited by this, correct? That's one. You are helping the community. That's the most important thing, right? You have to give back to the community. That's the most important thing. And second is, when you do this, people notice you. Trust me, if you might not get in any likes. Let's say you post something on LinkedIn, you might not get any likes, right? You worked so hard, you posted something, and you would only see one or two, and that one or two is one is you and one is your other friend, right? I've been through that. But do not focus on likes, because likes are not what you're here to do. People will notice you when you're consistent. So when you do something, post it in your GitHub, wherever it is, right? Medium articles. If you're someone who is into pen testing, if you let's say choose one vulnerability. Let's say IDOR, right? Indirect object reference. Let's say that's your favorite vulnerability. Create a scenario saying, and write an article that, hey, I found this one. I found an application which I felt like it could be vulnerable to IDORs, and this is what I did to actually exploit it and report to a company. Write an article that way. The another benefit of this is when you get into an interview, people are looking for experience, right? Remember that thing that I was talking about, where even though you are a fresher, people are looking for 1 or 2 years of experience. That, and you would have a question: how would I get experience if nobody's giving me a job? You don't need a job to gain experience, dear participants. You don't need that, because in today's world where everything is available on the internet, you can do it anything, right? The best example one I can give you is, let's say you want to get into SOC. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars or money buying a SOC tool and setting up a home lab. And you can build a simple home lab by using open source tools. Everything is open source, right? People are giving back to the community so much. Make use of it. You want to build a SIM tool? Use Waza or Wazoo, whatever it is, right? That is one open source SIM tool that you have. Use Elk, right? Use Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. Create a dashboard. Create a home network, right? That's the first experience that you have. Whatever traffic is going through in your home, parse it through your SIM, get it in your dashboard. You got experience already, right? Excuse me. Yeah, so that's one way to gain experience. Penetration test. Start breaking stuff. There's no way you're getting experience in pen testing if you are going through articles, right? Start breaking stuff, right? Post everything in a GitHub. Have a GitHub. You should have a GitHub in today's world. Have GitHub, right? So what am I going to do? Basically, you build, you break, you fix, and you share, right? You do this stuff and host it. Show it to the people. Let the world know, right? Don't look at likes. Don't look at how many people are reacting to it, but people will notice you. So this is one way you can get filtered out really quick, right? This is one way you get opportunities and you're not chasing it. So that's one good thing. And obviously, capture the flags are for bug bounty hunters and penetration testers. This is more, capture the flags are like a gamified environment, right? So people don't feel bored. You have some challenge. You have to get that flag. That is your end goal. So do this stuff, right? Get your when you do all this stuff, you start standing out, right? If there are 100 sheep in your field, you have to make sure that you stand out. You have to be the black sheep in a good way. So do these two things to stand out. Well, let me quickly rush because we're almost out of time. And obviously, this is the most common thing that nobody even has to tell it out, but most students or most participants don't even do it, right? Be ready to be committed to lifelong learning, because that's the truth in every domain, right? That's the truth in every domain, especially in cybersecurity, right? Because what I feel is like another analogy coming your way. What I feel is like cybersecurity is like river, because in a river, if you don't swim, you drown, right? Same thing. So in cybersecurity, what happens is that if you don't accept the fact that you should continuously learn, if you don't accept the fact that there is lifelong learning, you're not going to have a good career. Because how would you secure something when you're not updated on the emerging threats? How would you secure something when you're not updated on the emerging technologies? So be committed to lifelong learning. It starts day one, and there's no end to it. There's no day 100, there's no day 3000. Until the day you work, until the day you're actually in this field, you would keep learning, right? So be committed to that. And professional branding and building a portfolio is what we just spent time talking about. And the next one is internships and mentorship. Always find a good mentor. Go through LinkedIn. All of you who spend time in Instagram, spend half of it on LinkedIn, right? I'm pretty sure you would spend at least 3 hours a day. I have a friend, so he's a working professor, but to me, why would I blame my friend? Even me myself, when I used to have Instagram a year back, I quit. I used to have 6 hours or 8 hours of screen time, and 4 to 5 hours would be on Instagram, right? Scrolling to that endless doom scrolling that we do in Instagram. Uh, Spend half of it. I'm not telling you to quit Instagram. Spend half of it on LinkedIn, because you would find people who are passionate about sharing resources, right? You would find people who are not just there to work, but they're there to make a change, right? Be inspired from those people. Find a mentor that way. How do you find a mentor? You find someone, right? And see, okay, this guy is doing something different and I like it. I feel like his mindset resonates with mine. Talk to him. Just ping him on LinkedIn. And do not have that ego or that fear in your mind. What if he doesn't respond or he or she doesn't respond, right? Remember this, if the person who you feel could be a mentor, you ping them in LinkedIn or talk to them or chat them, and they don't respond back to you, they're not fit to be a mentor. Trust me. But give them some time, right? Because they're all working professionals, they're doing so many things. They might not be able to respond to you right away, but give them some time. But you don't find a response, they're not the right person to mentor you, right? Because a person who is really willing to help other people out, they would find time no matter how busy their schedule is, right? So find a really good mentor and learn from seasoned experts and seasoned professionals, right? That's one good thing that you can do to future proof your career. It's not just in your beginning stages. I know people who are having 20 years of experience still having a mentor, because you always need a mentor in life. You could be a one-man show, but why do you want to do it when you can have some help, right? Just 1 second. So this is the roadmap. We're just going to quickly summarize everything that we learned now. Have your foundation strong. The examples that I gave is just an example. Security plus network plus. That's not the gold standard. Security plus and network plus are examples of certifications that could give you a foundation. To be honest, there are better ones than that. Let's say you are a penetration tester. People think CEH is the best one. I'm sorry to break your hearts, but to be honest, I wouldn't recommend CH to anyone who is trying to become a core ethical hacker or pen tester, because CH doesn't give you any ethical experience, right? There are much better certifications like EJPT from Elon Security. They really give you hands-on experience, and that's the whole point of being a penetration tester, right? But that one benefit of having CEH is CEH gives you, obviously, it has 20 different modules and it gives you overall knowledge on it. But the bigger benefit CEH has over all the other beginner certifications is that the HR cloud or the HR fan base that is CEH has, every single job opening you see, CH is there. I don't know why, but CH is there, right? So that is one benefit. So if you have CH, your filtering is easy, right? People could filter you out really good, and your chances of getting you an interview is really good. So get your foundation strong. Choose a path, like you discussed. Choose one path. Get into it. See if you're able to resonate with it. See if it is something that's meant for you. If it's not, then switch. Right? Switching is always possible. It just depends on how committed and dedicated you are. So specialize on one thing, then obviously gain experience from whatever it is there out there, right? There are so many free tools, so many free open source stuff that's out there. The internet is filled with knowledge. The internet is filled with people who are ready to give knowledge. So learn from them, gain experience, and that's how you start, right? And obviously the most important question, are certifications really necessary? Yes. Uh, I can't say no. I'm trying to say no, because as long as you have skill, why would I need certification, correct? But here's the thing. When you apply for a job, you would have 3,000 applications within a year, or 300 applications within 1 week, right? Certifications help that filtering process. It shows that you are committedly learned something, right? certifications are like your, what do we say? Certifications are like your passports, right? Your passports don't have everything about you, right? They don't know your entire story. They just have who you are, your father name, your mother name, where you're born, and all that stuff. But so certificates are like your passports. Even though they don't have your entire information, they do help you to cross borders and go to different countries, right? So that's how a certification will help you. It is not completely necessary you need to have one, but it is definitely helpful. And you have to choose one based on the domain that you're trying to get in. You have to get certified strategically, not choosing someone does something, so you also do it. No, choose one. You have to write a path. When you're doing your first certification itself, you write a path, you write a roadmap. Okay, this is my first, this is my second, this is my third. So choose your certificates strategically, understand what aligns with your goals. Now, the most important thing is obviously networking. Um, you have to know a lot of people, and it's not to get a job. It's to learn a lot of things. Your mindset shouldn't be always in getting a job. Don't have this mindset, job, job, job. That's not your mindset. Obviously, that is your goal. That will happen. But when you spend time learning stuff, you would reach your goal, right? Focus on your process, not your result. The reason why most people fall prey to stress or fall prey to anxiety or all the stuff is because they worry about the result, right? When your exams come, don't worry about the result. Worry about your process. What's the process? The process is learning. When you spend time learning, your results will show up, right? So do that. So spend time learning. So that's the best thing you can do is networking. Network with a lot of people. I've met beautiful people in the industry, man, who have helped me a lot. I've been inspired by a lot of people as well. Apologies. So best thing you can do is attend conferences, right? DEF CON, Black Hat, all these are really beautiful conferences that you can attend. Join communities. Best communities that I can talk to or say, shout it out for in our country is probably CSA or B-Sides, right? They always have monthly meetups. Go to those monthly meetups. It's always on weekends. Go to those monthly meetups. Two benefits: you get to network, and people who are experienced in the field, they come and talk about different topics you've never heard about, right? So you could learn a lot of things. So join communities like that. Then obviously LinkedIn. Instagram helps, guys, but I know we need social life as well. But LinkedIn, as a professional, you should spend time and every day just go through it. Spend 15 minutes going through it. No, I'm not telling you to spend 3 hours. 15 minutes, because in those 15 minutes, the chances of you finding something really important is really high. So spend time on LinkedIn. Follow pros. Follow what they are doing. Follow what these successful people are doing. Right? Why are they famous, or why are they successful in the industry? What are they doing that's different from what I am doing? That should be a question. Correct. So do that, and this would definitely help you in building your cybersecurity community as well. Next, future trends, the most obvious thing, which we're talking about. If you don't spend time learning about what's new in the industry, what's new in the technology, you are not going to have a career in any domain. Even if you're in DevOps, if you don't know the recent most trending technologies, how would you have a really good career, right? So be always aware of what's happening. AI, quantum technologies, right? Now, we saw that encryption was broken by quantum technology, right? So things like that, be always aware of it. Even if you don't know, if it's something that you're not working on it, be aware of it. Make sure you have heard about it at least once, right? So that's one. And we are just going to end here. Almost we are done. So this is the final slide, almost the final slide, right? What is the action plan that we have? So explore, build your skills, create a network, will have your roadmap for it. Do not blindly learn anything just because of that. Create a roadmap for everything. Have a structured learning for everything, right? Find what excites you. Don't do something just because it pays you money. Don't do something just because someone else tells you it's cool. Don't do something just because someone else is successful in the field, right? Now, just because Michael Jackson was a really good dancer, right, doesn't mean I go to dancing, right? So make sure it excites you. Make sure that's what you're built for. Make sure you're passionate about it, right? Then choose a skill. Focus on growing that skill and technology. Then obviously to learn that as well, you have to have a really good roadmap. You should do, before you get into your career, uh, write your plan. This is what I'm going to do. By year one, this is something I'll learn. By year two, I'll be here. By year three, I'll be there. Have a plan like that, right? And then the most important thing, irrespective of your career, is your network. Your community will help you. And once you have a really good base, once you have a really good career, make sure you take this advice to your heart. give back to the community that helped you grow, right? So these are the key takeaways that we are going to follow from this session. And yes, we are almost at the end. The floor is all yours. So apologies again. I'm having a really bad throat. Talking 1 hour after back-to-back meetings at work is really hard to. So I'll be answering all your questions now. And before I stop sharing, um, feel free to go ahead and scan the QR code. This is not a phishing link. You can trust me, or maybe don't. Zero trust, right? So this is my LinkedIn. If you ever have some questions, if you feel something is hard, feel free to reach out to me. Even if you don't get a response at that minute, don't think that you're being ignored. I do talk to a lot of students as well, and so it might be busy, or I may be busy with something else, correct? So I might have a lot of things on my plate. I will make sure that I would respond to each and every one of your queries. That's something I'm passionate about. So if you feel free to reach out to me for any questions that you have. So with this, thank you everyone. And I think again I have to obviously thank Dr. Dhanraj for giving me this platform to share my insights to the next generation. So with that, thank you everyone once again, and welcome to the future. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jithu, for the wonderful session. It's a very, very informative session. If you see the feedback, you can know about that. It's a very wonderful and awesome session. So we know a lot about cybersecurity, because you said that even 20 years experience also need mentor. It's a very good information. So still, I am following your regular updates. It's a very good session. So thank you, Jithu. And participants, if you have any questions, you can follow Jithu on LinkedIn, and you can share the questions. Definitely he will answer, because due to his busy schedule, he came here and gave a wonderful talk. Thank you, Jithu. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, participants. We will post the feedback link. It will open up to 8:15. You can put your feedbacks.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
Dr. Dhanraj, but
Yeah.
I
Yes.
did see
Yes.
one important question from one person saying, what hands-on platforms should you choose, right? They say, should it be try hack me or hack the box? For penetration testers or ethical hackers, if you are asking me a question, is try hack me better or hack the box is better? Choose try hack me, because try hack me is built for beginners. The way they have structured their learning paths is beautiful, right? It's built for beginners. They guide you each and every step. Your initial phase is the most important phase that you have. So choose try hack me if you're a beginner. And it's not just for ethical hackers. People who want to get into SOC, try hack me has really good learning paths for SOC as well. Trust me, I'm not affiliated with them. They don't pay me money. It's because I have experience with that. So they have a really good learning path with SOC as well. Even GRC, trust me, even GRC, they have a really good learning path. So ethical hackers and pen testers out there, all my hackers, if you want to get into ethical hacking, and if you're worried about try hack me or hack the box, if you're worried about it, and if you have that question, or the person who asked me that question, choose try hack me. And once you become much experience in it, then choose hack the box, because hack the box sometimes could feel overwhelming at point. And once you feel overwhelming, what happens is that you almost give up, right? So don't do that. So always start with something with and set achievable goals. Achieve those goals, then move ahead. Somebody asked, "What's your package?" Really good question. I'm choosing not to answer that. Your really good question. Can we take a path of red teaming to be a CISO? Oh, so Viksha, definitely. I personally believe, and one of the persons that I'm really close to, is a really good red teamer. I think he's probably the best at red teaming, is what I believe. This is what he says, right? The next generation of CISOs are the ones who knows what red teaming is. They won't be the ones who do not know what technical stuff are. The next generation of CISOs would be really good technically. So yes, and prerequisites for pursuing certifications like ISC2. The question should be a bit more detailed. Which certification, right? ISC2 has CISSP. CISSP needs 5 years. CISM needs 3 years, and somebody's recognition as well. Then ISC2 also has a certification called Certified in Cybersecurity. That doesn't need any experience or prerequisite. You can just do it right now. So which certificate is the question? And what type of certifications you can recommend to students, Sangeeta? For students, I don't recommend any certifications. Make sure your fundamentals are strong. Once your fundamentals are strong, you would understand what certification you need. Once your fundamentals are strong, and once you know which path you need to choose, you would know what certification you need. Which certificate to finish to become a hacker? Really good question. I choose not to answer that, because we are not here to make people hackers. We are here to make people who are trying to protect us from hackers, right? Yeah, how many months it takes time to learn cybersecurity? You would never completely, there's not a single person in this world who would have learned everything in any domain. So you would always keep learning. But to finish the basic, it depends on how you learn. For some, it could be 2 weeks. Some, it could be 3 months. Some, it could be a year, right? So it depends on person to person and how you're learning. So try to have a roadmap and a structured learning path. This would make sure you learn everything really quick. And we are almost stop at the hour. So, so sorry guys, I have to cut off. I have a really important call to be a part of. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in my LinkedIn, and I'm happy to answer. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Jithu. Thank you for the time. Right. So participants, if you have any questions, you can please post the questions in Jithu's LinkedIn. So definitely he will answer your questions. Kindly fill the feedback form uh, so that you will get the certificates before August 15th. Okay. So thank you, Jithu. Thank you participants. Thank you all.